Good evening, Lama Tashi. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing good. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm the host of Eastover, and today I would like to introduce you to Lama Tashi, who was nominated for the Grammy Award for the Tibetan MasterChant. And we are going to host 6 beautiful days of Buddhism teaching and yoga, meditation, and in between the teaching, there will be chants, and which are in many ways to the lay people. We all very familiar with the sound healing. And I actually attended the teaching by Lama Tashi, and his clarity, and also full of little stories, and it's fun and full of wisdom. It made the understanding of Buddhism much easier. And actually is that I myself, really after many years of practice, let's say 30 years of practice, I found that the wisdom from the Buddhism teaching really is that, especially nowadays with the consciousness study, and it really helps us understand what is our true existence and how that this reality, very often could be quite chaos, like the war, and just lots of things going on, and actually how illusory of the reality is. And I think that it's very interesting, and also very healing in many ways to actually really understand all of this happening. And so it's a very great guidance for our daily life, and it's very relevant. So please take over and give us a short introduction about the chant, about the teaching of the happiness and the wisdom, and also the yoga and the meditation.
Thank you. We believe that chanting, in one hand, is a very healing energy in it, quality in it. But in our practice, in the Buddhist practice or spiritualism in the Himalayan community, we use a combination of chanting, meditation, yoga, and of course, kind of using therapeutic logics, ideas, all together, combined together to heal ourselves physically, mentally, and definitely the final goal is how we can achieve the happiness or the serenity. I'm not just talking about the exciting experience. Exciting experience, of course, is a very good. Many people, most of us like it. But while going through the exciting experience, if something goes wrong, our happiness can drop to zero in a second. So if we train ourselves in a way that the external problems cannot crush us easily, or this disturbing emotions are overpowered, in other words, I would say. So if we are able to control our emotion, if we are able to keep the emotions under our control, not that emotion controls us, then our happiness can be more stable, long-lasting, and more serene form, serenity. So one thing that what I heard, I read an article where the author quote about Napoleon, the leader of France, right? French. And he said that he had never remembered 6 happy days in his life. So that was really kind of giving me some very important information here, ideas, information. Like he was one of the most powerful person in the history, and like he brought revolution and all those things, but he never had 6 happy days in his life. That means his happiness was up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
So this is what the problem we face. Our happiness, we can be, we can achieve so many things in our life, but the negative emotion comes in us and crush away all our happiness. So that's why healing based on meditation, yoga, chanting, and therapeutic ideas.
Yes.
Using the idea that is therapeutic kind of therapy for us. If we have all those organized well in ourselves, then we will have a very stable happiness.
Yes.
So that we can really have a continuous, not just 6 days, but 2 weeks, 1 month long happiness without disturbance. And then if we continue that practice, then we can have like whole year happiness with no disturbance. And then if we continue practice more continuously, then we can have like our rest of the life completely calm in serene matter, right? Serene form. Not just happiness, just excited. Oh, I have a new car. I got this business went very well, good profit. I have achieved like this thing and that thing, and so many things can be there. But whenever this negative emotions just crashes us, and then mainly the external things provokes our negative emotions, right?
Yes.
And that negative emotion crashes our happiness.
Yes.
So one thing is how we can train ourselves in a way that external problems cannot provoke our emotion. And then if we can train ourselves in that manner, then we can maintain or we can overpower our emotion. If that happens, then we can maintain our happiness more than we can extend it continuously, extend it for more than 6 days, better than Napoleon.
Yes, yes, yes.
So later on, we can say, oh, I had like 1 full month happiness,
Yes.
right? Then we can extend it to further, like two full months
Yes. Yes.
of continuous happiness.
Yes.
And then 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and then years, and then till we die, kind of we live completely with happiness. Once again, when I talk happiness, it is not just excitement from some kind of achievement, but not having the disturbing emotions that kind of destroys our happiness or which erupts in us, and then our happiness just falls into zero.
Yeah.
So that's what we can develop. And I am sharing this because I went through a very difficult time. At one point, I lost a couple of my very important person in my life, spiritual friends.
Yeah.
And lost of those 2 people was too much on me that I was unable to handle it. And then I found that I was going through depression. And then, of course, when we go through depression, we are broken from inside. I went through that experience. And when I was broken from inside, I can tell how fragile and weak I was. How weak I was.
Yes.
As a result,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I can see all my spiritual practice were kind of going down. So I just kind of like, wait a minute, I shouldn't be like that because I have studied Buddhism for a long time. So I started to applying those for myself. And that helped me a lot. So that's one of the reasons I'm trying to share this with the other peoples.
Yes, yes, yeah. I think that Buddhism, why I think it's because that, in many ways, it's a study of the mind and the consciousness. And in many ways, actually, is that our true self really is is that awareness. And that awareness actually can be there all the time. It's like a screen, behind the movie, the real life is kind of like the movie content, and the real existence actually is the screen in the back. And it doesn't matter, what the real life is playing, that screen, that stillness, through meditation, through sound healing and chanting healing and all of that, it heals our wounds. And then when we're able to, and I think that's, like where that actually through the practice and understanding from the wisdom of Buddhist teaching and knowing of that we are actually that stillness of a screen in the back of that awareness. And so that, we really understand the essence of our existence. That's why that we can achieve ultimate serenity and peace and happiness. So, through some time of practice, it is, able to achieve very lasting happiness, not just measured by days and months, but actually is that, really real happiness that forever for the life. But at the same time, participating in real life with a lot of wisdom of the Buddhist teaching. So can you tell us a little bit more about the chanting and why is that healing? And then after that, maybe a little bit more about of the yoga and the meditation to build this lasting happiness and lasting stillness and serenity.
Yeah. Chanting, when we chant a mantra that's directly came from Buddha himself. So it goes to like 2,500-600 years. So what the belief behind the mantra is, that's a word that is completely pure, most pure form of the word, sound. And it has a special quality of healing. In one hand, when we chant, in one hand, definitely it has to go with some kind of, now present day, people call it like affirmation. So the most mantra has that affirmation meaning in it, affirmative meaning in it. And then, of course, it came from Buddha himself. It's kind of believed to be the most pure form of the sound.
I see.
So it has a special energy in it. Just by reciting it, that will give a positive energy within ourselves. And when we do it with the visualization and then carrying that affirmation in our mind, that will bring a big changes in ourselves. So that's one of the healing. And then how we chant, that's another thing. And then with meditation, focusing or having some visualization in our mind, that gives add another positive energy in it for healing. And then yoga and meditation. So when we talk about meditation, it's one of the journey. Like when we read the book and when we discuss, when we study, things will start making sense in our brain. And through meditation, you bring it down to your heart, and making it part of yourself permanently. That's the main purpose of the meditation, kind of stabilizing that quality or that whatever information, whatever idea that convince you. Like, let's say, we're not supposed to get angry. Angry is not good for us. be patient, and be with kindness and love.
Yes.
That's one of the subject. But why do we need to develop our compassion? How can we do it? Why we need to stay away from anger? How can I become someone who is free from anger? Those are the ideas. The answers for these questions are something we need to learn in ourselves. We need to teach ourselves. Once that ideas make sense in our brain, we need to bring it into our heart. So that journey is the meditation, kind of stabilizing it, not just keeping in the brain and not connecting it from heart. If we do not connect that to our heart, that can disappear again.
Yes.
So we'll have to bring it again. But if you do meditation, the meditation will help bring that or link it to our heart and the brain. As a result, that will bring changes in our life, daily life. You think it for logically again and again, then you meditate it for a while. After a month or so, you will find the changes in you. You are more compassionate. You are free, less angry, the angers. If let's say if I'm someone that get angry very frequently, that meditation will change it. Later on, I can find myself. I can see that I am getting anger less now than I was 1 year before.
Yes.
That can be seen. And I am more compassionate now. I am more loving person to others. And I have a stronger patience in myself. And then, as a result, you will see more satisfaction in life.
Yes.
That is actually happiness. That's where you start the happiness in your life. Now you have this less up and downs in life, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why yoga in one hand is like there are many different kind of yogas. One, what they in Sanskrit, it's called Hatha Yoga. It's a physical yoga. And then prana yoga is kind of breathing exercise.
Yes.
That's true. And then they have a Dharma yoga and Kundalini yoga.
Yes.
Now you go more to do with your visualization and your mind.
Yes. So it's
Then karma yoga, that's a service, giving service to other. But first Hatha yoga, then prana yoga. Those two are very popular now but then next step is to take it to the Dharma yoga and Kundalini yoga and all those. That's Sanskrit word. So then you go through more visualization, and that's more into meditation now. So with this, if we go through this, that will help us develop our meditational power, capability of meditating on something, and then that meditation will, as I said earlier, whatever the information and ideas that we are able to, nourish from information, collect information and then use our logic and then nourish it, and then final conclusion, whatever we can bring in our mind, now we can connect it link that with our heart. And that's a meditational process. And now you use that meditation and then chanting all together. Of course, that will heal you physically, heal you mentally, and then spiritually. As a result, what I usually tell my friends is like, if your spirituality is not making you happier person, that means your spirituality is not working. It's not. I told them. So spiritualism should make person less anger, more patience, more compassionate, and more stability of mind. Calm, serenity, happier. Happier person.
Okay.
So that's why I have been trying to share some of those ideas, which has been very helpful to me.
It's wonderful. Now I understand much better. Yeah, so now I understand. Yes, so chanting, why that is so helpful and healing, it really is that, in the sound, there's so much information that is carrying in the chanting through you. And not only just that, but also, these were original chantings from Buddha. And so all of the healing information in many ways is kind of like through of our subconsciousness, I believe, from our subconsciousness to achieve healing, even though, intellectually, or even when you just hear as a normal person, you maybe, you feel calm and all of that. But in many ways, also on the subconscious level, the information carried on by the chant really goes deep into the body, yeah. And then through the teaching, that we're able to actually drop from the intellectual level, from the intellectual level, we learn about the concepts and all of that, and the wisdom and all of that compassion and all of that. And then, when you're able to, through meditation and the yoga, from the intellectual level, drops down to the heart. And when it comes to the heart, then by that time, actually is you're able to act without interference of the head, because the head very often, especially when we have an ego, very often, it's most of the time defending of the ego. That's why, it's so easy for people to get into like looping thoughts, which is actually in many ways, it's like a depressive behavior. And so then in this way, when you through yoga, meditation, and chanting healing, a whole package, really is able to guide us how to drop from the intellectual level down to the heart. And then by that time, we will be able to, like when we encounter things, we'll be able to immediately act rather than through, complicated looping in the head and deciding, should I do this? Should I do that? And just become really is that living a life of being, and I think that that's the biggest thing about all of this teaching. So integrated together. And I am so amazed that, Lama, that have experienced through your own self and experiencing all of this, and then you have come to a really complete package together. And I think this is just so rare and so precious, And so during this 5 nights and 6 days, we are going to do a lot of teaching, practice, chanting, healing, meditation, and yoga, so that, that in this 5 nights, 6 days, we're going to pack so much in, but, you'll be amazed that, how much that we're going to get from this. And I am so grateful to have found Lama Tashi and able to bring all of this together. This is just so amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So
I'm really happy to be able to share things with your help. And of course, I have more friends, many friends all around.
yes.
This is like lately my main focus is how can, in brief, I said, how can we develop the serene happiness within ourselves?
Yes, lasting happiness, and also is just living life, much lighter and in flow and in serenity, and doesn't matter, allow things to happen, but at the same time, not disturbing of our, of our mind, having a much better of, in many ways, handling, of our mind. Yeah. So I'm going to share a little bit of the screen so that some of the things that the people are able to see more clearly on the screen. So first of all is that the retreat is going to be from August 30th to September 4th. and so it's going to be really packed with a lot of contents. This is one. And then another is that lots of material actually is going to be covered also. So I'm going to just give you a rough idea of how much that is going to be covered. It is really a lot of content, and every day is going to have one major topic. And the first day will be on arrival day, and then also is that every day we're going to go into in depth of a study. And I think that the last day also is the medicine Buddha, is that right? Yeah, right. And so every day we are going to go into detail of the compassion, the wisdom, the healing, and the medicine, and all of that. And then of course is that in between of any of the teachings sessions, we will have the chanting, so that our body, not only intellectually we learn, but at the same time, the main thing is that is to have the connection with the body. Drop the intellectual learning from the head down to the heart, and that's the most important part. And then of course is that through meditation, mantra, and yoga, so that it really settles into our body and into our heart. So there's really a lot to doing this 6 days, but it definitely is going to be very, very relaxed. It's not going to be stressful learning. It's going to be very, very transforming. And so just that itself actually is that if let's say is that there are certain things that we need to work on, and during these 6 days, we're going to have a lot of opportunity to work on this. So this is going to be happening at, here is a testimony from somebody who had done practice with Lama Tashi. And here is what the person said. It says that Lama Tashi is an inspiration, one of the few beings you meet that truly care about others. His teachings are clear and precise, filled with compassion and wisdom. He also has a wonderful sense of humor that emits an inner happiness everyone can feel. And this is how I felt too, even though, I only joined him for a short study. But what I have found that the teaching was so clear, and it was a lot of fun with a lot of stories. So it helps us understand actually the key wisdoms of Buddhist study very easily. And so, and then through the chanting and the meditation, it really helps us connect more to our body and to our heart. So this is going to be held at Eastover in Lenox. And so this is a big ground of 600 acres, wild nature. And it's opposite of the largest state forest of Massachusetts, but it's so convenient to the center of Lenox, where that it has, Tanglewood and many of the culture and art community and all of that, even though the center of the town is really small, but it's just there's so much cultural events and wonderful environment, and that you will have a chance to experience. And the ground and at Eastover is just serene. At the same time, it's very, very expensive. So, as soon as you drive into the gate, you feel like your heart is opening up. That's literally, I've been there for 13 years. And even though that's the case, every single time when I arrive, I just feel my heart opens up, and it's so beautiful. So it's a very, very special place. And we would love to have you join us. And I'm so happy to be able to bring Lama Tashi, to Eastover. Thank you so much. Yeah. Is there anything more you would like to share with us?
I think that's what I would. I
Okay,
think.
great. Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to share with you here, just give you a sample of the master chant, that the recording that Lama Tashi had. And that was also part of the recording that was nominated for the Grammy Award. Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
So I'm going to share that with you, and then let that be the ending of this recording. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm gonna. Oh, what happened to my my YouTube screen? Okay, all right. So first of all, I'm gonna need to. Oh, here it is. Okay, all right, and then I'm gonna share from here of the chant. Okay, yeah. And thank you so much, Lama.
Yeah. Are we done?
Thank you so much. I haven't stopped the recording. I'm going to stop